Tommy. Oh, Tommy. I'm sure you guys see that over-the-top crazy white girl, that white blonde, right, that comes on and she just starts her little rants. You know, it's always like, you liberals. Blah, 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 blah. She's just, I can't quite imitate it, but you liberals. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Right? It's just, I can't stand listening to her. It's insane, right? But anyway, um, she was on The View, and I think she got a little confused, right? She got a little confused, and she thought she drank the Kool-Aid so much that people on the right are so tolerant that that she felt she could really start giving some of her real feelings out. And it turns out, you know, that Tommy isn't allowed to be pro-choice. I don't know who told her she's allowed to be pro-choice. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice to pick. Like, don't you understand? Okay, there's a party line, you don't cross it. I mean, even Donald Trump understands this. Not only was Donald Trump pro-choice, Donald Trump was pro-choice under all circumstances, no exceptions. Up until a black dude was elected president, he decided he was going to go anti-Democrats, even though he spent a majority of his life saying that Democrats are better than Republicans, right? And he started to go on a campaign saying Obama wasn't born in the U.S., and then he also just miraculously became pro-life. See, even Donald Trump gets it. Like Mr. Grab him by the pussy gets it. And you don't get it? You don't get to pick? You don't get to decide what you are? Or you don't get an opinion. She thought she had an opinion. Like, you're allowed to go on the air, right, and piss off the right people, okay, and throw red meat, right, to your listeners, right? You worked for the Blaze. The Blaze pays you. They liked a lot of the things you were saying, and you liked a lot of things you were saying, right? You knew what you were doing, Tommy. Come on, everybody, come on. It doesn't take that long. If you just go back on her own Twitter page, I mean, Tommy was a party girl. She was very liberal, right? Very liberal. And she took student debt very seriously. She had a very liberal view on that. She took climate change seriously. She took a lot of things seriously. But all of a sudden, she got signed by the Blaze, and hey, I have a role to play. You were a character, just like the Sean Hannity's of the world, right? And you didn't play the character right. What did you do, Tommy? Tommy, what did you do? What were you thinking? Now, she gave her stance and her opinion on why she's pro-choice, and she did it in a moment to sound smart, okay, and to catch everybody by surprise. And she did it in an attempt to show all the quote-unquote liberals around the world that us conservatives, we have a different variety of opinions. Ironically enough, she did it in an attempt to show that it's not about being conservative or about being liberal, but having a diverse, amount of opinions. Well, that kind of backfired on you, didn't it? And it backfired hard. She was suspended by the Blaze. She's been permanently suspended by the Blaze. I mean, to get fired by the Blaze, right? I mean, in a Glenn Beck program, of all things, that's just sad. It's sad, 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 sad. Now, anyway, in all seriousness, apparently she's been ousted, man, and she's feeling the wrath of every side. Because the only side that would come to her defense in a case like this, she's already been talking shit about them for years, right? Like, only thirsty dudes on Twitter are like defending her, right? Like, do that thing, they're gonna get a piece of that pussy or something. So the only ones that are like out defending her and shit. Other than that, nobody's really defending her, right? There's no defense of this girl. Right now, look, she is just like Tomi and a lot of these guys, man. Uh, I could just tell, like her, Sean Hannity, and sports guys like Skip Bayless. They're just characters, right? They're just here for shock value. That's all they are, and they're playing a character on TV. In her case, on the Blaze and online and on social media, and it's she forgot that she forgot she was playing a role, right? Now, Tomi and a lot of individuals her age um, feel the same way she does as far as their stance on being pro-choice. The problem is that if like here's a problem we have in this country, right? And this and in fairness to her, okay, this is one of them. Now, keep in mind, the left does this too, right? Both sides do this. So in the right, you are expected to be certain things, right? And this is the Republican right, by the way. And if you're not those certain things, then if one thing isn't there, you're disqualified from being a true conservative in their eyes. The same thing in the left, right? It's an example I'll give you in the left, and it would be maybe Sam Harris when he gave his opinions on Islam and radical Islam, and he has opinions about that, and it's he was really ousted by the left over some opinions that he gave. So you can't say one side or the other, but I just find this hilarious, okay? Because this was done just literally just overnight. He was just ousted like this, and people know now. Like if you work for a right wing network, you can't just come out and say you're pro-choice. You can't, even if you are. Like I said, even the guy that ran for president is pretending to be pro-choice when, like, I'm sorry, pro-life when he's never been pro-life in his entire life. I'm pretty sure, right, that Donald Trump has had more than enough women have abortions and paid him off to do it. I'm pretty sure of it, right? Especially with the way, I mean, if you listen to some of his Howard Stern interviews and stuff like that, right? So to say that this dude is pro-life is insane. But there you go. That's Tomi. She's where's she gonna go from here? I'm not sure. I don't know where she goes from here. Right? And honestly, I don't care. Her videos on YouTube are annoying as shit. Okay, she sold her soul just to be ousted like this. This is insane. Now, what should individuals do? Let me tell you something, man. Don't try to avoid labels, right? Just try it. Try to avoid being well, I'm a conservative, so yeah, I'm gonna follow the conservative platform, right? Fuck that. I'm a liberal. I'm gonna follow the liberal platform. Be your own individual, right? Everyone's gonna have different opinions on different things, right? Very strong opinions, even, right? But just because you have you can this idea that you can be conservative when it comes to economics, but then liberal when it comes to social issues. Of course you can. How you could be? It could be the opposite, right? So there's different perspectives out there, and there's a lot of nuance to everything. You don't have to take the on the book, platform position on everything, right? You just don't. So if don't let someone tell you this is pro-life, this is pro-choice. Pick. No, like you could have a nuance perspective on abortion. Like you don't have to have it be a label that people put on you. right? You can have a nuanced perspective on economics. You don't have to put a label that the media puts on it or politicians put on it, right? You could have a nuanced position on healthcare. It doesn't have to be what the media says or what politicians say. You could have a nuanced view just in the world in general. And when it comes to immigration, you could have a nuanced view when it comes to a lot of things. You don't have to label yourself and say, hey, I am liberal, therefore these are all my positions. Okay? No, what you could just be is yourself. And this is the problem that our current system of government has, or that it's put in place, and that it's creating this, right? That is, we have a scenario right now, right? Or a situation anyway, where we have two major parties. These two major parties have a platform, and everyone is expected to follow everything that this platform of each party says. When there's things I disagree with the Democrats, there's things I disagree with the Republicans, there's things I disagree with both, right? And I have my own take on things. And you can't expect, politicians to use identity politics. You can't expect politicians to use uh, platform politics to just get a vote from you. If one politician is pro-life and you're pro-life, but everything else about that politician is going to screw over your life, it's going to fuck you over, it's going to do a lot of harm to other people, why would you vote for that individual? Just because he's putting out a label, right, that you agree with. You got to remove those labels and look at the nuance of each situation. That's what we need to do. I lose hope in people every day. I really do. I mean, here you have Tomi, okay, who agrees with 99.9% of the fucking platform to the T, the Republican platform. And this one issue, she's already ousted. And that's problematic. That one, that's not going to make people be honest about their position. You think any other conservatives going to come out and be honest of how they feel about certain things when they know this could happen to them? Of course they won't. The same thing on the left. If every time, like, the big problem in the left is, the labels, right? So if you have a nuanced position on something, they immediately, label you something. So if I come out and I say to people on the left, I don't even like Trump, but this one accusation you're making, like, you guys are like totally over exaggerating that, and it's like it's not really true. And then I'm labeled, oh, you're a fucking Republican, you piece of shit. Why don't you go support Trump with the rest of the rednecks? I'm like, what? See, this is the problem. So anyway, that's my take. That's my take. Right? Don't fall for the labels. Don't. If when somebody asks me, hey, what are you? I almost always say, if someone held a gun to my head and forced me to say it, then I would say I'm a progressive, right? But that doesn't mean that if a very progressive political party, became to be, which is, believe me, the Democrats are not progressive, right? Okay. But if that were to happen and they made a platform, it doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything on the platform. If I see something on the platform I disagree with, then I disagree with it. Right? We need to get rid of this political party, you know, bullshit. Like, people need to get that out of their fucking head. That they need to just, be your own person. That's it. Don't affiliate yourself you know, with a platform. Just don't do that. It's how is that possible? What I find strange is there's millions of people that are registered as Democrats and millions of people that are registered as Republican. Millions. And like they swear, like in the conventions, right? They swear, like they're at the convention and somebody's giving a speech, and everyone in that convention agrees with an entire platform. Get the fuck out of here. You can't get two people to agree on everything. You can get millions to agree on on every single thing. That's stupid, right? That's dumb. Okay. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. All right. Well, that's it. This is D Style. Tell me what you think. I'm out.